It's impossible to win games in college football 26 if you can't ever run the ball. In this video, I'm breaking down 5 tips to transform your run offense here in CFB 26 and make it impossible to stop. I just showed the 5 tips of this player and he ran for 300 yards in the next game, so I know the same thing can happen for you so long as you watch the video all the way to the end and don't skip out on any of the tips I'm breaking down today. Let's jump right into it. The first tip I want to break down is going to be a way to get your offensive line to actually block the players that you want them to that'll have an impact on the play. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so that setting that I'm going to be breaking down here is going to be the untarget defender button. So there's 2 ways that you can open this menu. You can press LB and then Y, or you can just flick the right stick up. Alright, so whichever one you choose to do, all you want to do is make sure that you untarget an edge rusher. What I mean by this is if you know that you're going from right to left, like right here, untargeting this defender makes sense because you're going the other way. So you see how he comes in completely free off the left side or off the right side, which means he has no impact on the play because I'm going the other way. Now, what you notice in that play was the rest of our players just got absolutely mauled. Like they just had no chance. Right, but it's like with the run game, it's never going to be 100%, but it's like being able to double team this guy is going to help you out a whole lot, right? Because really what you could do is untarget this man, then double team this man because that gives you an extra blocker in the middle. Right, so now you're going to see how he's going to come in free, and that's why it's really important to run away from him, because you're able to see how right there, we certainly were able to pick up good yards on that run, but you notice how he did a good job of staying in the play and then following me to where I was. So I needed to actually get all the way out here instead of like cutting it up, because I just thought I could cut it up, but now he meets me there because he came in free. So that's where it's like with this, it's always really, it's really important for you to be really smart with who you're untargeting. Like I would never want to untarget this man right here because now he comes in free and I'm running right into him. So it's like you always want to do it on a player who's away from the play, on the backside of the play, to really make sure that you're able to, walk in the backfield, or make sure that he walks in the backfield untouched, but you're able to see how that time I'm running away from him and then I'm able to turn that into easy yards. Because now really what happens is this man, 75, was supposed to be blocking this edge rusher, but now he's able to get up here and double team, right? Which helps us get to the second level of the defense and avoid some of these other blockers, right? Because who knows? This might have been a guy who immediately sheds, right? But now we're able to double team him. Double team blocks pretty good in this game, and so you're going to be able to just get up to the second level a whole lot faster. So again, always make sure it's a player, away from where you're running, just like you're able to see right there, because also what happens sometimes is he dumbs out. Right, so what happens right here, where he kind of just dumbs out and like he's kind of shuffling his feet, not really doing anything, and so that's exactly what you're trying to get him to do. Block nobody so that you can get up here, double team, and then you actually see how this man then gets to the second level of the defense to block this linebacker, opening up the lane for us. So overall, when you're running the ball here in this game, you always, on every run play, you want to make sure you're untargeting the defenders that you don't think are going to have an impact on the play, but the most important thing is that you're not turning back in that direction and running towards them. You're always running away from them. Alright, so now you're going to have more holes to actually run through in the run game, but what if you had a way to get a speed boost out of the backfield to turn those into even more yards? Let me show you how to boost here in CFB 26. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and call any run play here. We have inside zone against a random defense, and the speed boost is really what's going to unlock your run offense, right? It's still really important to run through openings, though. You don't want to get in the habit of just boosting for no reason, but this is what's really going to allow you to turn those 2-yard gains. I mean, you probably saw it earlier in that first segment where we're dead to rights in the backfield, but yet we're going to be able to turn these into easy yards. Like right there, I'm able to speed boost, pick up more yards, because you also mess up the pursuit angles of some of these guys. Like right there, that was a horrible boost. I tried to boost all the way out to the edge when I just had a lane to run. So it's like, with more power comes more responsibility here with the speed boost, which really means that it's like if you mess it up, your mess ups are going to be even worse. So you see how if I didn't even boost, I could have just ran through this gap right through the middle right here, but instead I boosted towards the left side, and then I ended up getting tackled because I couldn't recover from it. So there's sometimes where, like right there, I want to boost all the way out to the edge. I was completely going nowhere on that run. There was no room for me to run up the middle because I saw that this defender came in free. So I knew I couldn't cut back, so I knew I had to get all the way out to the edge, and the only way I'm able to do that is to speed boost there to make sure I get away from this defender. And then this is what I was about to say. With the speed boost, you want to make sure that you're chaining it up with other moves where you speed boost to get to your spot, but really now I can't get away from this defender unless I spin. So I spin him out, and now that allows me to pick up those extra 2 or 3 yards. So it's really like the little details, like right here. That's another example of where the speed boost is valuable. It allows me to get to my spot sooner, just like I'm able to do right here, where we look at the replay. I see this gap open immediately, and so I want to boost there instead of just running there, and that's what's going to allow me to get there faster and pick up more yards. So you're probably asking, BLT, how do you speed boost? Well, what you're going to do is you always want to make sure you're doing it after your blocks have set up or you're past the line of scrimmage. You don't immediately want to speed boost unless you see a clear hole, but you're going to press right trigger and left stick where you want to run, just like you guys are normally doing on run plays. But then what you're adding is you're going to tap the left trigger to be able to speed boost. That's what's going to activate the boost. So again, right here, I get to my spot, and when you guys are seeing him kind of make that shift, that sudden change of speed, the boost, that's really what it is. Or that's what I'm doing. I'm just tapping the left trigger. So boom, you're able to see right here, we take the handoff. I see that my blocks have set up, so now I'm ready to boost. I'm holding right trigger, the left stick where I want to run, which is up probably about like 1 or 2 o'clock right here, and then I tap the left trigger to boost, get to my spot sooner. And you can boost more than once. Really, especially when you're calling inside zone runs, you're able to boost out to the edge like I do right here, and then I'm able to cut it up. Again, I showed you in the last segment the untarget defender feature, right? And so it's like, yeah, you're untargeting this defender, which means he comes in free. So now I don't really have a choice but to run away from him. So I want to speed boost to really make sure I do get away from him. And then you see my lineman pancakes that guy, and so that allows me to pick up more yards. So really with the speed boost, what it's about is mastering doing it, the timing, right? Not doing it too early, because if you, this is something else we're going to talk about in this video. It's like, if you do it too early, you could mess up your blocks. But it's like, once it's set up, it's just going to be very easy for you to do. That's an easy spin, especially with like Jam Miller, you know, because he has 360, the spin moves is, you know, even better for us here. So it's like, you will still want to make sure you're using some of those other ball carrier moves. You don't have to speed boost on every play, but I would always recommend here that you're speed boosting to get to your spot, and then you're able to utilize it just like that to dumb out the pursuit angles of all of these other defenders and turn those, you know, really, you know, 4-yard, 5-yard gains into touchdowns just like that. Alright, so if you found this breakdown helpful of those first 2 run offense tips to allow you to run for way more yards here in CFB 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. I break down college football 26 tips and tricks just like this every single day to help you guys get better, and you're not going to want to miss out on any of the content I have going into college football 27. So subscribing is a great option for you. You're never going to miss out on any of the content that I have. But if you want my full Alabama offensive ebook, which has some great run concepts, go to the link down below in the pinned comment. You can grab it today by joining CFB University, where you can get your first month for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. I have tips and the Alabama ebook inside of CFB right now, and a new defensive ebook is in the works. It's probably already out by the time you're watching this video. So what are you thinking? Join CFB today. You get access to everything that's in the program, and I highly recommend you check it out. Let's jump right back into the video though. Alright, the next run offense tip that I want to break down is actually a mistake that too many players are making without even knowing. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so we are going to call any shotgun run play here in this game, alright? And really what's important is that you are not running to the slow side. So what I mean by this is, I'm going to call inside zone. Ty Simpson is right-handed. He's a right-handed quarterback. So I want my running back to be on the right hip of my quarterback so that I can call these inside zone runs, or any run really, base, draw, or I guess not really draw, but like trap, base, trap, inside zone. You want to make sure that you're going from right to left with these. So we're going to take the snap. This is what's going to make your handoff animation as fast as possible. But this does not guarantee necessarily that your blocks are going to set up, which is really what the run game is about. It's just going to get the ball in the belly of your halfback sooner when you're running from right to left with a right-handed quarterback, right? And so if we flip it, what you're going to notice is I'm doing it the incorrect way now, just so that you can see. Ty Simpson's right-handed, I have my running back on the left hip of the quarterback. What you're going to notice is this handoff animation is going to be slower. You're still going to notice how you can still pick up yards running to the slow side, so it's not like you're completely done. It's just going to slow you down, so it's just a best practice to, if you're going to call a run play like this, you're going to call it like this, where you're going to have your running back on the right hip of the quarterback so that that handoff animation is going to be as fast as possible. Because the reality is, if you were to use the same mechanic that I showed you in the first part of this video, where you untarget the defender, the edge rusher, right? If you have a slow handoff animation, him walking in free is really going to hurt you. Right, you're able to see right here where, again, it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't even matter that you're running the slow side, but it's just like you want to make sure that that handoff animation is as fast as possible so that you can get the ball into the belly of your running back and turn that into easy yards, right? So it's like maybe you change it up at some point, you go the slow side, but it's like 90%, 95% of run plays, there's no real reason to run the ball to the slow side. You want to make sure that, the big gains I've ripped off in this video, the touchdowns, have been when I'm running the ball like this, not when you're running to the slow side, because again, you're able to get downhill faster and pick up more yards. So this isn't necessarily, again, something that's going to guarantee you more yards on every play. It's just going to be, again, a best practice that you should look to utilize. Stop running to the slow side. Again, if you have a left-handed quarterback, it's opposite. You do want the running back to be on the left hip of your quarterback. But just understand your personnel. Make sure that you're not running the slow side, and you're just going to see how you're going to be able to rip off way more easy gains like that simply because your running back is on the right side of the quarterback. All right, before I jump to those final two run offense tips that you're absolutely not going to want to miss out on here in CFB 26, I wanted to remind you to go down below, hit that subscribe button. I'm the only one still breaking down college football 26 tips and tricks on YouTube every single day, so you don't want to miss out on any of the content I have, because it's going to get even better, especially as we go into college football 27. You're not going to want to miss out on any of the breakdowns I have, so what are you thinking? Go down below, subscribe today. But let's jump into those final two tips. Because this next one is what's going to allow you to pick up more yards on the ground, because you're actually going to be running to a favorable place on the field. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so what we're going to be talking about here is reading the look pre-snap, alright? And so what I mean by reading the look pre-snap is literally, it's as simple as that. The look that the defensive front gives you is going to determine where you're running the ball, okay? Like, if they shift their defensive line, really, we have a great inside zone look, but like, if they were to just stack the box, right, maybe they go ahead and walk this safety down, they move this guy over here, right? This is just, like, this is what I mean when I say you're not going to run inside zone in this look, right? Because now what you would just do, if they line up like this, you come out in inside zone, but now you audible to quarterback zone, where this time you're just going out to the edge. And it's like, sometimes you have the right look, but your blocks don't set up, so you don't really worry about that. Obviously, they're in prevent. There's no one in the box right here, so we're obviously going to, just try to hand the ball off and speed boost. That's exactly why, the speed boost is so valuable. They're in prevent defense, and we're still able to score a 30-yard rushing touchdown, right? So it's like, that's what I mean, though, when I say reading the look, because when you can get to the second level of the defense very easily, that's what's going to allow you to run the ball better, because now you can rip off those big gains. You can speed boost to pick up even more yards. But also, it's like, okay, we read the look now. We see they're kind of stacking the box, but also the quarterback look doesn't look too, appetizing either. They have 5 guys on that side. So instead, I'm going to call my RPO. Now I'm going to go RPO where I'm exactly right, because it's going to be hard for them to basically be symmetrical on all 3 levels. So what I mean by that is, it's going to be hard for them to stack the box in the middle, defend over here on the sideline with the right look, and have all these guys over here to defend this trip side. So it's like, that's where it's like you want to have basically a 3-play scheme where you're going to be able to run the ball in between the tackles, you're going to be able to run the ball out on the edge to the right, and find a way to get the ball out quickly to the left. Right here, the box looks wide open for us, so I'm just going to hand the ball off to my running back. We get a pancake, and so we're easily able to turn that into easy yards down the field. So it doesn't get any simpler than this in the run game, but this is something conceptually that not enough players are truly understanding, because it's like, well, I'm just calling run plays and I'm just calling them to call them. No, you want to call run plays based on what the defense is showing you. So that's where it's like you want to have multiple options so that you can audible once you get to the line of scrimmage. You're noticing how I'm very rarely going to lose yards or not pick up, a good amount of yards here because I'm actually calling the right plays in the right situations. And the last thing that I'll break down here with this specifically as far as reading the look is you never want to get too greedy or say oh, I haven't gone my quarterback run 8 plays in a row. Let me go to it here for no reason. Every single play you're reading the look, which really means you could not go to the quarterback for a whole quarter, a whole half. But when you catch them with the right look, that would be a terrible time to run that. That's just you getting too greedy right there. So it's never get too greedy. Always be willing to call the same run every time if that's the look that they're giving you. And you're just going to make it a whole lot easier for you to run the ball, right? You're able to see how, most of the time, it's just going to be inside zone. Inside zone is typically going to be your best option. Right here, I'm looking at this RPO potentially as my best option right here. And it's most of the time, once you get better with this, you're going to be right, which is going to make your run game, your RPO game way better, way easier to pick up yards, and way harder for them to defend. Alright, and that fifth and final run offense tip that I want to break down here in College Football 26 is actually going to be one that's going to allow you to score more touchdowns in the red zone. Let me show you what I mean. Alright, so when we're talking about scoring touchdowns in the red zone, the hardest thing that a lot of players have, their biggest issue, is that they're getting stopped at the 1 yard line way too often. And so this tip that I'm about to break down is what's going to allow you to stop getting stopped at the 1 yard line. So you're going to call your run plays, and obviously right there we walk in free, so that's easy. But it's if you ever get into a one-on-one tackling animation near the goal line, you need to make sure that you're holding the right stick up. Again, you can never truly predict what's going to happen after you snap the ball, but it's always being ready. You're going to see right here where it's, again, those 3 plays in a row, I just walk in completely untouched, no problem. And that's going to be fantastic. Right here, this would be an example of I haven't been able to go to my quarterback, like I told you in the last segment, for 15 plays in a row, but now I have the perfect look to be able to do it, and I walk in untouched. So really, all 5 of these tips actually connect here in this video. You want to untarget backside defenders on any run play like this. You want to make sure that you're speed boosting to give you your spot on inside runs. You don't want to run to the slow side, right? You want to read the look pre-snap, and you want to extend the ball at the goal line if you get into a one-on-one tackling animation. So it's really everything that I talk about in all these videos, but especially this one, all 5 tips should be used on every single play, but especially down here in the red zone. So you're going to see it again how this time, that's what I'm talking about, a one-on-one tackling animation. Now, having a bigger, taller, stronger running back is going to make this easier for you, because really what you see right here is Jam Miller gets into this one-on-one tackling animation, and look at this. I tried to extend the ball right here, but his arms aren't long enough. He's not powerful enough to be able to run through Lawson here in this case. So he ends up only getting up to the 1. Maybe if he's stronger, or maybe if he's closer to the end zone, he's able to score. But extending the ball is really about the only thing that you can do when you're in those one-on-one tackling animations. But also, I want you to understand that once it's a second tackler, right? So once a second tackler comes in, the animation gets canceled and it's over. So you see how he's ready to extend the ball right here, but because that extra defender comes and knocks him to the ground, now he doesn't extend the ball. So that's really the biggest thing that you want to understand. When you're that far out from the end zone, though, there's no reason to extend the ball, because you can fumble doing this, right? Because you have the ball extended, you can fumble. So you only want to do it when you're close to the end zone. You see how right here I did it anyway, even though I had no chance to score. So it's really only when you're close to the end zone. Right here, there's no chance for me to be able to just extend that ball, so I don't even try doing it. But bottom line here, when you combine all 5 of these tips, or the first 4, and then you add extending the ball at the goal line in a one-on-one tackling animation, it's going to be a whole lot easier. Right there, extend the ball, power through, score a touchdown, versus getting stopped at the 1 yard line, which is going to overall just help your offense score more touchdowns instead of kicking field goals. So very simple. You get into one-on-one tackling animations, extend the ball, but if a second tackler is already present, or you're too far away, you don't want to even get in the habit of doing it, because you can fumble. But overall, you combine all these tips, you extend the ball, when you're in a one-on-one tackling animation, you're going to score way more touchdowns, and your red zone run offense is going to be a whole lot better. Alright, so if you found that breakdown helpful of 5 run offense tips to help you score more touchdowns and improve your run offense here, in college football 26, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button. Again, I'm the only one still breaking down college football 26 tips and tricks to help you guys get better every single day on a wide variety of topics that not enough people are talking about. So I'm really the best channel to watch and take information from. But if you found those tips helpful in this video and you want to save them on your phone so that you never lose access to them, or if you go surfing through this video or others, go to the link down below in the pinned comment to join CFB University, where you can get your first month of all my written breakdowns for 20% off by using code YouTube at checkout. My Alabama or my 425 ebook is already in that vault right now, and so I highly recommend you check it out along with the written tips. But if you want to see a gameplay of me running the Alabama offense, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there. Peace.